Hey everybody, it's Anjanette from AJ's Personal Touch. How you doing? Welcome back to my subscribers and welcome into anybody new. Sorry I have not made a video since the 3rd and today's the 11th. I think that was the last time I made one. I think my blog hub video was the last one I made. Um, First of all, my husband is working his new hours. So I know I didn't make one at all this last week because, again, my husband's working his new hours and it's just been really, really rough trying to find a time that I can do this while he's home. Um, First of all, I haven't been feeling well. And by the time I start feeling okay to videotape, he's usually back in the house from whatever he was doing outside or whatever, up from taking a nap and making noise. And you guys know I don't like to videotape when there's a lot of noise going on. It's just been a week. It's been a busy week. This is going to be a busy month for me. I have a lot of doctor's appointments. Um, this week I had dentist appointment one day. Was that the week before? That may have been the week before. I just have so many appointments. It's not even funny. I just realized today that I'm going to have to probably postpone one of my appointments. Yeah, especially after I think I just had to change it just a little bit ago anyway, but I wasn't thinking I'm not going to be able to do it because just for women, it's a female appointment. And since I'm not 100% healed yet, I'm not going to be able to lay back the way that you need to without stretching. And yeah, and I'm not about to mess up anything to do with my last surgery because we all know it's taken me months. So yeah, so I need to go redo that, and that's supposed to be on the 21st of this month. So I'm thinking I'll have to just wait until the beginning of the year. I don't want to muddy up December at all. But we had the vet visit for cats on Tuesday, and then I had 2 appointments in Indy on Thursday. It's just been a week. I got 2 appointments next week, although the one depends on if my insurance will cover it or not. Dental insurance is so much different than regular insurance. I'm sure you guys know that. um, it doesn't go like regular insurance if you meet your deductible and then things by the end of the year are being paid off at 100%. I know a lot of people don't see that unless you're like me and you have a lot of issues wrong. By the end of the year, my stuff is getting paid for at 100%. So if I need to have a surgery or something, it's best to be done towards the end of the year. By the time I had my surgery in August, everything should have been being paid at 100%. But of course, they haven't paid anything on the surgery yet. And things are just so much more difficult right now getting things taken care of. So many hospitals are being bought out by bigger entities, and it's happening everywhere. The last place that I hadn't seen it happen at was here at home, and both of our hospitals here have been bought out in the last couple of years. So then you have where you call for billing and you're sent to somewhere, like I'm in Indiana and I get sent to Texas or Georgia or who knows where else. And the people there, all they know is what they're looking at. And for whatever reason, they kept telling me that I had to give them information in order for it to go through insurance. And I'm like, well, what information do they? Well, you'll have to call your insurance. So I call my insurance and I'm like, what's going on? What do you need to know from me? I'll, give you whatever I can since it's something personal that you guys need, so you can file this through. And then I hear from insurance, no, it's not from you that we need. We need the medical necessity, which is very common on almost anything that's sent in for insurance. They're going to ask for medical necessity. Always. Whether it's been pre-certified and they got the medical necessity beforehand, if they don't feel they have everything after you've had the surgery or for as long as you've been in the hospital or whatever, they're going to need more information. So that's what they were trying to get, was more information, basically the medical charting from my stay in the hospital. And they kept telling me they needed information from me. So finally, I had called there at least 3 times. When I went to the doctor for my checkup this last Thursday, I asked the lady at the front desk. I wasn't going to ask at first because this is not always the instance. Because anymore, if you ask when you're in the doctor's office, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, we don't take care of billing here. You're going to have to go down the hall, go here, go there. It's not taken care of in this building anymore. Here's the number to call or whatever. And it's the same number that I already have. So something kept telling me, you need to ask. You need to ask. So I asked, and she's like, oh, yeah. We have somebody who takes care of billing just for this office because it's a surgical office that even though they're in the hospital, they're also their own entity. So, yeah, she got me the person who takes care of the billing and stuff. And well, she told her what I had said. And while I was in my appointment, the woman had looked through everything and had already sent my medical records by the time I came out. I resubmitted it with all the records I wanted. Just wanted to let you know it should be about 30 days. Bless you so much. Plus, I have her name in case I need to call back. And, I can always call the doctor's office then and say, hey, I have some more billing issues. Is there a way that you can put me in touch with so-and-so? Sorry. I know this is crochet channel, but it's also pretty much about me channel. So for those of you who may be new, I do talk about things going on with me and my situations a lot because I find that it helps educate some people who may not go through some of this, but plus I can help others who are going through some of the same issues as well. If you go through and watch my introduction video, I tell you a lot about myself, and I believe I talk about why I started the channel and all that basically because I've been home by myself and lonely, which is changing but not changing with my husband's hours changing. Because he's home doesn't mean that I'm not still lonely. He's busy doing his stuff. He wants me to get the back room done. Lots of things we want to get done and stuff, but I just have not been at 100%. Last week, I have been exhausted. I don't know if it's because I'm getting so close to being at the end of my healing that my body is needing more and more from me. I don't know if it's because I'm not giving it enough to begin with and that it's just needing more and more and more every day. Stress, Christmas is coming, so many different things. Start off this week, my husband took the cats to the vet. And my baby, Kahlua, she has lost about 3.5 pounds since last year. And the vet, she said, well, that's a significant weight loss, especially in a cat. And especially because she had been overweight and she had lost some weight. We did what they had suggested, and she had lost some weight. But then she, went from losing like a pound or two each year to bam, 3.5. So she was like, we need to check and see. She's 9 years old now, and we need to see if there's something going on. So they took blood work, and my husband had taken her in early in the morning, her and Little Bit. We couldn't get charcoal. I was going to try and get charcoal in later. And he comes home and he says, this is what the vet wanted to do. I'm like, okay. And they should call you as soon as they get the results. I gave your number instead of mine because I know you're right by your phone. You're going to hear it. Okay. So we waited. Nothing that day. And we're both getting antsy. And the next morning, still hadn't heard nothing. And I told him, I haven't heard nothing, but I keep telling myself no news is good news. And he's like, yeah, I was literally just thinking the same thing. So then Wednesday comes and goes and nothing. Wednesday night, before we go to bed, because we got to be up early the next morning to go down to Indy, I told him, I said, I'm going to call them. If I don't hear from them by the time my appointment is over tomorrow, I'm going to call them when we're on our way home. I'm like, because this is just starting to get ridiculous. We should have heard something. My brain's starting to go to, oh my goodness, they are waiting until the vet has time, or the vet's looking into something. Did they do some kind of a culture? And he's like, well, it's listed on the sheet, everything they did. So we come home, I look at the sheet, and I'm like, yeah, like I understand all of that. I understand a CBC and I understand a chem panel because I have those done on myself a lot. The other things were like reading total Greek. And I'm like, I have no clue. And by this time, I had called and it had been lunchtime. So I called again right before we got home. Come on, baby. And they were like, well, I know they took the blood on Tuesday, but it didn't get sent out until Wednesday morning. So it should be coming in today. And as soon as we get the report, um, I'll have somebody call you. So then we come home. My husband gets to doing yard work outside. I was going to tape. I was in my top that I had crocheted, trying to wear it before I can't wear it anymore because even now it's like a tent on me. It's got a V-neck. It falls forward or it falls backwards or it's never quite in the right spot. It was Cal day, so I had to get home. I did the Cal. I had planned on taping after, but then he was doing stuff, and like I said, it was noisy. But while he was outside mowing the lawn, uh, the phone rang, and I saw the number, and I saw where it was coming from, and I'm like, oh, this could be the vet. So, because normally I do not answer. Just to let you guys know, if for some reason you're trying to call me, because if you do send me an email and stuff, my phone number is at the bottom. And plus, I've shown pictures of my business card. So it's very easy to get a hold of my phone number. I do not answer my phone if I do not know who's calling. So my husband's the same way. If it says unknown caller, because his somehow got sent, put on the accessibility thing where it announces everybody who calls. If it says unknown sender, he will not answer it. He does not answer anything that he doesn't know who it is. We both figure if it's important enough, whoever is calling is going to leave a message. You guys know there's too many scammers out there now. So, but this, I figured it was the vet. And I answered the phone, and it was, well, I thought it was the vet's office, but it was actually the vet. And he was calling to let me know that Kahlua has a clean bill of health. Oh, baby girl. She's lost a lot of weight, but there's nothing to show for it in her chem panels, which covers the organs, her CBC, which is everything else, white blood counts, red blood counts, all of that. So that baby's good to go. She said the only thing she could think of is because of in her old age, if she's developing arthritis or something like that, it could be from that. And I told him, like, I've been playing with him every day. I've been watching this guy. His name is Jackson. I can't think of his last name right this second, but he's very famous where cats are concerned, and he gives you his advice and, like what the different things that they do, what they mean. And he tells you need to play with them every day. And I've always tried, play fetch with them or whatever, especially when I'm laid up and I can't do a lot. But one of the things I've been trying to do every day, whether I feel up to it or not, I mean, the one day when I couldn't wake up at all this week, yeah, I didn't play with them that day. But I try to get up and I get the wand that has we have a bird that's attached to it, and I just move it all around. And she never used to move hardly at all, and she goes flying all around this house. It is so cool to see. My baby is acting just like she did when she was a kitten. Aren't you, baby girl? So, kind of what's been going on around here. Um, Also, I mean, another reason why I haven't been coming on is because I don't really know I'm not sure exactly what all to film right now. Um, Basically because I haven't been filming as much in a while. Um, I know, I guess that sounds weird because I always film depending on how I feel. I either film more or less, but I always have things to film. But since I have not been feeling as well, I literally don't have like finished objects and things like that. But I do have what I've been working on. So I've been showing you my works in progress, which I'm going to do today. And I know some people don't like all this, the chatty stuff. So I did do my flip through of my crochet world. I've been showing you when we go to Ollie's a couple little things that I get here and there. They haven't had yarn. They have any, like I've said, they have some like, I don't even know, other places it would be clearance yarn, stuff that's lost its wrapper, um, stuff that must have gotten so knotted up, that the store is not going to sit there for a long time and try and unknot it. So cut it off, toss off what they can, and then what's left. There's literally a skein of, or a cake, about a half a cake, either a quarter to a half a cake of like a brunette blanket yarn, if that comes in a cake, something like that. It's either a velvet yarn or a blanket type yarn. You can see that it's the inside of the cake. Um, or it may have been their cloud cake. They had cloud cakes. It may have been the inside of a cloud cake. You can see the inside color and then the outer color. But I don't think the cloud cakes are striped. So if it wasn't that, maybe it was they've had latte cakes. Could have been a latte cake. One of the striping cakes that they have had. You can see like two colors and actually like maybe the middle color and a little bit of the next color. And they still have it for $4.99, which is what they charged for the cake to begin with, the whole cake. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay $4.99 for something that's not the whole entire cake. Yeah, I can use it for cat toys and stuff. But if they sell the whole cake for $4.99, they should be selling stuff like that for like $1 or $2 or whatever. If they did, I would clean them all out of everything that's not um, a blanket yarn or a velvet yarn or something like that, which they have quite a bit of. They have the loopy yarn too. I'm not going to buy loopy yarn. Um, they have not the big skeins of not the Super Saver, not the Red Heart Super Saver, but the smaller skeins, and they have those still priced at $4.99, and they've had them for months. It's like, okay, if people haven't bought these in months, either you need to send them on to another store, which Ollie's will do. If they haven't sold certain things, they will send them on to another store. They process their supplies through different stores. If they don't sell here, they move it up to another place where they think it might. And that's why if you're watching videos, you'll hear, like I did videos on the different cloud cakes and the different things and the latte cakes and the stuff that they did here, showing you what I had bought. And then literally 6 months later, I saw somebody else do a video and she's like, brand new at my Ollie's. And I'm like, that's stuff that was brand new at my Ollie's last Christmas. And it was literally June. So I'm like, yeah, you can just tell by watching people's videos. And it was a brand new video put up that day because I wanted to see what the new Ollie stuff was. So you can tell that they redistribute it to places where they think they may be able to sell it, or maybe they didn't have it come off the truck in that area, but they did here. They didn't sell it here, so they moved it on. Although all of that stuff sold here. They didn't have anything left to move on. But when they do, like they had all the blue. It was like a royal bluish color Super Saver that was not selling here. And I believe that they shipped out to somewhere else. And then we have all this charcoal brunette, which I love. Actually, it's Super Saver. I keep on saying brunette because that's what my charcoal is brunette, but it looks almost exactly like it. And if I needed more, I would have bought some, but I don't need any more. And it's so close to the regular price that I'm like, I'm not going to pay $4.99 if I can get it on sale somewhere else for a little bit cheaper. I'm just not. And I know sometimes I think in pre-pandemic pricing, not post, but I still think even regular, the smaller skeins of Super Saver are still closer to around $4.99, $5.99. So if I remember right. So anyway, I don't look at it a lot, so I don't know the price on the Super Saver and stuff. At Christmas time, I'll look because I love their Christmas colors. But I don't need any because I still have some left. And I'm not really doing, I have the yarn that I need to do stockings, which I don't know if I'm going to get done this year. But one thing that I'm getting closer on finishing on my squares is for my daughter's blanket. And that's one of my whips in progress. I'm going to show you that. Come on, Chloe. I need you to move down now, baby girl. I will start with these because I literally started on the last one in the style that I'm going to show you right here. And I actually got a whole one done in the car on the way home the other day, which was, yeah, this one. I finished this one on Thursday on the way home. The whole entire thing. I couldn't believe one whole one. Normally, I don't get a whole one done. And that tells you also how easy these ones are. I was close to having this whole one done in a day because this one was started down in Indy. But then I had gotten really sick on the way home, so I didn't finish it. But I was only like 2 rows away from being finished on that one a couple weeks ago, or last month sometime. That one, I still don't. That one, that color always comes out bigger. So I'm guessing that the yarn that I use, which I can't remember, I think this is Big Twist, must come out larger. But then again, but all skeins of yarn are not created equal. This is a Big Twist right here. And I could have just been crocheting loose that day too. Like I said, I wasn't feeling good. So yeah, it's even a little bit bigger than that, but I'm not going to worry about it. I do need to get my blocking board out and start blocking it, but I want to show you this square up close. And that's what it looks like up close. And I'm hoping that the last two squares are easy also. For this blanket, if you don't remember, I have to do 4 of each square. So I should finish this one today, and then I can move on to my next to last square. Kahlua, you need to get down, baby girl. You need to get down. I am taping, baby. No, you got to get down. Down, down, down. Now I'm going to move on to the cow. I haven't given you the information on the squares in a while. This was from a blanket from last year, and I had hoped to get it done last year, and I did not. This was from, it was called the Stitchathon, and this was block 12. And it was the 2022 Blanket Stitchathon, which was a year-long mystery cow. Every month, I think 2 blocks came out. There were a total of 14 blocks. It was every so many weeks then. There were a total of 14 blocks, 7 designers. Each designer did 2 blocks, and each block you were to make 4 of. There are 2 blocks I really didn't care for, so I found my own designs found different designs to use in place of those. Does it say who this was brought to us by? I don't. When I save the when I print off the patterns, and these are printed from the website, I do not save all of the information. I only print off what I need to, and the information is not on that one. I was looking at it to see if it was, but let me see. I think, here we go. Should be in here. Yeah, this is the next block. It's a bunch of shells, fans. It's called the shell square. And then here is the last one. It's the Stitch Together. It's from StitchTogetherOfficial.com. Stitch-a-thon. And this one, I'm not sure exactly what stitch that is. It looks like a very nice texture. But I do know when I went on trying to find all the information in the main page where most of the main information came from, and the different PDF downloads, because I did have a couple PDF downloads for like to get your worksheets on how you can plan your own blanket, because that's how many squares there will be a total. Each designer will contribute 2 7-inch square designs for a total of 14 square designs. To complete the blanket, you'll make 4 of each design for a total of 56 squares. You can arrange the square in any pattern with any number of colors. Use the template to map out some color options. So you can print this out and then you can like put the number of each square however you want to arrange it. I don't know. I may end up separating mine into the colors. My colors are black, charcoal gray, a darker gray, and a lighter gray. So that you can see kind of an ombre effect. But then I'm putting them together with even another color of gray. Lua, you need to move. So here are my four main colors, and I'll start with darkest to lightest. So here's the darkest, black, 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 and then charcoal gray, and then here's my medium gray, and then here's my light gray. Now, the color that I will be connecting them all together with is in between these two grays. My daughter loves black and gray. And if it could be all black, she would prefer all black. I'm not making a big blanket in all black. Not happening. I do better stitching with black than a lot of people do, but I don't do that well. So, yeah, I got to have some lighter colors in there. If I put in an off-white or a white, she probably wouldn't care, and I could have probably put the blanket together with like off-white if I wanted, but I just wanted to stick with the grays. I didn't want it to be a little bit more drastic. I don't know, off-white against black, charcoal gray, and then the other two grays, I didn't think would look right. In my mind, trying to see it in my mind, I would have probably needed either more of a really light gray, silver. I just decided to go for a gray in between those two. So I was originally going to use get all big twist, but then when I looked at what I had charcoal gray already in Bernat, so that's what I started with. And my friend had some that she would never use, so she sent me some. So I got that from her, and then I had black Millens. I had lots of different colors of black, and then my friend sent me some Crafters Square in black. So Kahlua, stay down. And then I got some of the big skeins, and I think it was Bernat. Now that I think about it, from Ollie's. So, and I kept forgetting that I bought that to help with this, and I don't know if that's what. No, that's Craft Smart there. What's this? This is Craft Smart too. So maybe they had the Craft Smart, and it's not. This isn't what a friend sent me. I just know that I have some big skeins back there as well, but I'm thinking that it's the color that I'm using, so I wasn't using it to put the blanket together. Or the color I think actually that I had bought to put the blanket together in the big skeins from Ollie's is so close to what I already have that I wanted to make sure that I got a stepping stone. Something like that. I know I have it all in the back. I haven't been able to go through all of it yet. My husband just put up another shelf back there for me, a metal shelf that he got from Ollie's, so I can put more yarn up instead of putting it in all of the oh, my brain doesn't want to use work, the storage containers. So, okay, let's move on from there. Now that as I said, I'm not feeling well. I've been stuffed up all night. I feel like I'm going to start getting a cold, and that is the last thing that I want. I'm so excited about this. Okay. The last time I showed this to you guys, let me see if I can find my progress keeper. I was right here on this square. So this wasn't done yet, and the finishing of this end wasn't done yet. So now I have this whole entire end done over here, and I have started doing the extension of this side, and then I will be boxing them in. Now, honestly, I don't know why when she originally did this. Well, I do know why. It was to break it up into sizes. I guess I shouldn't say I don't know why. She had everybody go to a certain number all the way completely around this original square. Then stop, and then you're going to widen it, and then you're going to square it out to make it into a rectangle. I think she could have had, especially for those of us making the bigger size, just keep on going around and around for a few more until we stopped. But she didn't. So, because originally I thought it was going to be as wide as my original one was where it had finished, but it does actually add some onto it. Actually, I guess, you know what? No, it doesn't. The original one stopped here and here. As I'm going over and extending over here, it's going over and around, and it's not adding up, it's building it out. So, yeah, I guess that is the original box there. Okay, I do know what. She did it. Never mind that thinking right there, honestly. I did mine backwards at one point, but nobody's really going to know because when it comes time to start sewing it together, I can turn it the right way out and it doesn't really matter. So I did a couple things different because of using striping yarn, and she used one solid color. Now, I have seen where her testers, of course, if you're a tester, you have to do the pattern exactly as it's written. You have to. That's what you're agreeing on at when you're a tester. I know there are people who test and they do not do it exactly. I know some say, oh, well, I'm helping them and showing them an easier way for them to do this. The point is, it is how the designer wants it done. You have to do it exactly the way the designer wants to do it, so the designer knows if the pattern is written correctly or not. Now, once you get to the stage where if it's not done correctly and you want to offer some opinions or ideas while you're waiting for them to rewrite certain things and bring it back to you, that's a different story. Totally different. But there are some people who will try to redo it as they go. And a perfect example is a sweater that I was tech editing for a designer. And when I got it to tech edit it, this is a designer that happens to design it, send it to send it to testers, and then she has it tech edited. Normally, it should be designed, sent to the tech editor, and then sent to testers to make sure nothing was missed. by the designer or the tech editor, because tech editors are human too. We're going to miss things. So, but hopefully not big things. Well, this sweater, beautiful sweater. And it's something that was like totally one design on one side and a totally different design on the other. And the problem comes where the two designs meet up to make sure that everything is spot on to go on to the other design on the other side. All of the counts were off. All of them. Even for the smallest size. Because another thing that designers tend to do, as you guys know, they'll make a beanie and everybody loves it. So then they'll make a scarf to match it. Everybody loves that. And oh, they may make a shawl. Or they may start with a sweater. Everybody loves it. But anyway, people will make like a big grouping out of the same stitch then. It's one of those instances of where one of these stitches was something that this designer had done, and I had never seen anybody else, do this. And she wanted to make the sweater with it. And what she did, and what they do to make it easy, they have a template and stuff, and they copy and they paste and stuff from the previous one onto the new one. But they need to make sure that they go in, they change the numbers and do everything. She thought that she had, and she thought that they were all right, but they didn't work out. The testers should have found that. The tester should have found, because it wasn't just a one or two stitches here or there. It was by almost 50 stitches on one of the sizes. It was big, big differences. It should not have worked out for whoever was testing it. But one of the things that can happen when you're testing is you just go on, you see something, you change it how you want to change it, and then you just tell them everything's fine. Basically, you wanted the pattern, you loved it, you wanted to make it, and you're just going to tell them everything's fine. She was like, how come none of my testers found it? I told her, I said they were probably changing it as they went up, and sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it. So it may not have even been that they wanted the pattern and that they didn't want to test it correctly. It may have just been that they were changing it as they went and they didn't realize they were changing it as they went because they're so used to having something and changing it as they go, because that's not working for the yarn I'm using. That's not working for whatever. So on this, if I were to follow the directions that she had, Klua, honey, if I were to follow the directions that she had to the letter, you see where I have some of these even squares here? And especially this mustard one here, which, yeah, it may shift just a bit when you get to the part where you're going up, like right here as a specific instance. You can see where it's not quite, you can tell this is the stripe where we stopped and ended the row, right here, this strip right through here, because this was the end of one row and that was the start of the next. Had I done how she had written it, she wanted us to reverse. And I understand why she wanted us to reverse and go back the other way. But had I done that, I was going to have this big, huge chunk of pink here. And by the time it came back over around here, it would have been gold. So I would not have had my stripes go around as they did. So what I had to do, she was using a chain to reverse. And the chain 2 was not counting. I think it was not counting. It may have been counting as a stitch. Actually, I think it was counting as a stitch. But what I did was I didn't turn it. I kept going the same direction. And I did a stackable double crochet. I'm not giving away her design. I'm not giving away her directions. And this is a free pattern on the site. But I'm just telling you, I made that change. And because I made that change, I don't have the big misshapen striped areas that I would have had I not done that. I pulled back, I went back, I had to frog a couple times until I had that happen. So if you want to use a striped yarn on this, just remember you may have to make a change, and I hope that my telling you where I made that change will help you. I originally wasn't gonna say anything about doing that, but then I thought it may help you guys if some of you see this and you think, oh, I really, really want to make that. Oh, that's turning out really nice in that striped yarn. I made a change, but I made the change during the cowl. So a couple other people also made that change with me. So, so yeah, there's that. And then my last thing is my moose. My moose, my moose. I am hoping to have this moose done, hopefully maybe even by the end of this week. And then I have to make a taco into a rattle. I just need to find the pattern. So as I have asked you guys before, if any of you have made an amigurumi taco and you liked it, please let me know where you got the pattern, if you paid for the pattern. I'm looking for a pattern that looks kind of realistic. The original one she sent me was kind of more like a, what are they called? The Kai or Ki or whatever, or Kiwi, a Kiwi type pattern where they're cutesy. It was a kit, and I had looked into getting the kit, but it was too expensive. And I didn't want to charge her all of that when I could find. I asked her if she liked it. If she liked it, I would have found it. She would have paid for it. All would have been well. But she actually said no. She wanted more authentic. And that her kids were very authentic. Like I just asked her what color she wanted for the outer shell, because I thought she was going to want like a corn color, and I couldn't find the right color, so I was going to use this like yellow here. That would probably look well, I know how well it does look, and with the white stripes in it when it's crocheted up. But she said, no, I need to use more of an off-white because, yes, she wants it to be a corn, like a corn hard shell. Because I was like, do you want an off-white because it'll be more of a flower shell, or do you want, yellow for a corn? She's like, I want it to be a corn shell, which would be a hard shell because that's what my kids eat. But they use more of the authentic, so they're more white and not. So I need to use a white to an off-white. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can do that. So I'm trying to find what color. Done with that color. Done with that color. Okay. So here is the head, which I have shown before. I got the whole head done. So excited. All done. I have the body done. I just have not stuffed it. I decided I'm going to make all the rest of the pieces, and I'm going to stuff them and sew them all up at once instead of going piece by piece. It's just easier to hold on to the whole moose in here because he's kind of big. And I have started on his arm, and that's going to be the paw. And then the rest will be in the black. So yeah, I got 2 arms to do and 2 legs. Actually, is it the arm or the leg? Nope, I started on the leg. So for the leg. I thought that's a pretty big paw for the arm. So yeah, that's the leg. Got 2 legs to do, 2 paws, or 2 arms, and then I should be done. I was just sickened. I had hoped to be done by this weekend with the moose. But because I've had almost 3 days without being able to do any, one day I was just so exhausted. I slept like the whole entire day. Whole day. And then the next one I was in and out and in and out. Got up, took my shower, woke up for a little bit that night. I worked on it a little bit, but I have not gotten the work done on it that I wanted to this week. So this week is going to be it. I have to do it this week. If I have days like that, I'm going to just have to grit my teeth and work on it. So, but I have seen what happens when I work on things when I'm exhausted and I think that I'm ready. Those squares that I showed you for the blanket, and you saw it's called an elongated double crochet stitch, and I had to skip the stitch and then double crochet 3, then go back into the area and then elongate it to make it go all the way across. I was so tired and out of it that I was going behind it and going across. So instead of it diagonally the way it's supposed to, it goes the other way and it's on the wrong side instead of the right side. So yeah, excited to keep that one in there because my daughter's not going to know the difference. And sometimes I like to have, if I make a mistake, depending on how the mistake is, I have a friend who her grandma used to make a blanket for her and then one for each of her sisters. And her grandma always gave her the first one because it inevitably always had a mistake. And she knew that she wouldn't mind and that she wouldn't go looking for a mistake or anything, just basically that she wouldn't mind. And she could, and instead of like some people would think I'm getting the flawed one, her grandma would tell her, I'm giving you this one because I want you to know that when you make a mistake, it can make something more beautiful. And mainly it's because she always considered herself ugly and that people always gave her the flawed things. And her grandma wanted her to know that flaws make a person beautiful. So, very beautiful. And so when I have certain mistakes that don't look like, if you're looking at it, you can't tell that there's a mistake. Like this square, if another crocheter was looking at the whole blanket, they may be able to tell. And honestly, somebody else may be able to tell, but they would have to be looking at all of those 4 squares, which you've already been told there's, 54 squares in the whole entire blanket. So, and there's 4 of each square, so they're going to be spread out on the blanket, and there's no way somebody's going to have all 4 of those right up next to each other, because I'm not going to put them right up next to each other, for one thing. So they're not going to be able to look at all 4 of them at the same time and go, oh, okay, unless they are specifically going through looking for the same 4 squares to see, oh, I want to see if she made a mistake. So it's going to look fine. It's going to be great. We already know that I'm going to have some squares that are larger. I'm going to get my blocking board out and I'm going to make sure that everything is blocked to the size. If I have some squares that ended up being a little bit bigger because for some reason I crocheted looser than what they're supposed to be, then that 7-inch square they're supposed to be, I may block everything up to 7.5 inches just to make sure everything is as uniform as I can. So anyway, with that, I've got to get going. I can't believe I do apologize for all of the talking I did at the beginning, but it was stuff that I wanted to tell you why I hadn't been on here for a while. I did not mean to be talking to you for a half an hour, almost. half an hour almost, sorry. So I'm going to hurry up and make this outro quickly before it ends up being over an hour. Remember, you matter, and you all matter to me. And if you ever need to talk to me, please send me an email. I am so close to having my emails the way that I want them to be, so it shouldn't be very hard for me to find if somebody sends me an email. Send me an email. You need to chat, talk with somebody. I am here for you. We can talk on the phone, we can virtual chat, we can talk email, we can send messages back and forth. However you want to communicate, we can do it. And please remember, I love you guys, all of you, and you're beautiful and you're gorgeous. Don't let anybody ever tell you differently. I love you so much. Mwah. I have missed you guys so much, and I am so excited to be back. Wednesday, live, my channel with Kaylin. I almost forgot about that, and I'm glad that I thought about it because I have to set it up. I haven't done that yet. So I will be putting the reminder in my group as soon as I get the links ready. So see you guys later. Love you guys. I cannot wait to see you guys live Wednesday. I have missed you all so, so much. Love you. Mwah.